Hey gang, where's my Zen Heads at? You're listening to the Zen Large Show. I'm Zen Large. Today is day one of a 7-day fast. So, actually, probably technically day two. I'm 26 hours into a 7-day fast. So, I've completed one day. So, this is an annual thing for me every year. I do a 1 week fast, and it's for cancer prevention. So cancer, it's the one thing that you could be doing everything right, and cancer can hit you and take you out and end your life early. And I'm not going out like that. Not if I can help it. I'm gonna do everything I can. I spend a lot of effort on taking care of myself so that I can live a long life and a rich life and live life to the fullest. And cancer is one way to end your life early. Cancer is another way to make your life miserable. If it doesn't kill you, it can be pretty miserable. So this is one of the things I do. So, people always ask me, like, every time I do this, I always get the response, but Chris, you don't need to lose weight. Why are you fasting? And I'm like, I'm not doing it to lose weight. Did you hear me? I'm doing it for cancer prevention. It is a great way for losing weight. Don't get me wrong. Over the next week, I'm going to do a few shows on fasting and the various benefits you get from it. But the primary reason I'm doing it's not about weight loss. It's about cancer prevention. So how do I do this? First of all, so it's not a juice fast. Some people call it fasting when they have juices, and some people also call it a fast when they just reduce their calories. No, this is no food. There's no food. It's just water. So in years past, I would have tea or coffee with normally I put cream in my tea or cream in my coffee. But I would, during my week of long fasting, I wouldn't put any cream in. So it'd just be tea or coffee because that's basically 0 calories. But this year I wanted to be just completely clean, only water. And so I actually quit coffee about a month ago, and maybe I'll do a show on that as well. There's some benefits to that. I haven't decided if I'm going to stay off coffee forever, because there's definitely pros and cons. There's some things I like about me drinking coffee. There's things I like about not having coffee. But one of the things was I wanted to quit coffee before I did my 7-day fast so I could have a pure 7-day fast. So it's just water and electrolytes. So I will have electrolytes, and that's just potassium and sodium. If you try to do a fast and you don't supplement electrolytes, it's miserable. It's absolutely miserable. The first year I did it, I didn't do if I can talk right, I didn't do electrolytes, and it was awful. After about 5 or 6 days, that's what I think I finally I was researching it, the way I felt, and I was getting a lot of vertigo, and would just be lightheaded every time I go stand up. And when I researched it, they said, have electrolytes. And I did that, and instantly I felt so much better, because after about 24 hours without eating, your body will completely flush itself of all the electrolytes, and your body needs that to run. We're basically electrical machines, our bodies, right? They're biological water machines. They run on water and electricity, and the electrolytes help the energy to move through your body and whatnot. I don't have a terribly scientific explanation for that, but that's the gist of it. So yeah, I do potassium, sodium, and I put potassium in my water. I used to put sodium in my water, and it ended up being the worst part of the fast was drinking salt water, because I'd have to drink 4 glasses of salt water a day. And I was like, that was worse than not having food, was drinking the salt water. I got to hate salt water. And one of my listeners, who I've become good friends with over the years, he messaged me and was like, why don't you just try taking sodium pills, or you can buy empty capsules and put the sodium in that. So I've been doing that, and now that's not even an issue anymore. So the taking sodium isn't a big deal. Potassium in the water, you don't taste it at all, so it's fine. I mean, you do taste it, but it's really subtle. It's no big deal. And I drink potassium whether I'm fasting or not, because I have restless leg syndrome, so I'm used to it. And potassium treats that symptom. It treats the symptoms of restless leg syndrome. So, that's just an everyday thing for me. That's not something that's fasting. So I do that. It's not a big deal for me. The first year was maybe a little hard, because I wasn't taking electrolytes, but I fast. I'm a champion faster pretty much. I'm kind of a cyborg. I do a lot of intermittent fasting, and we'll get into that on other days because I plan to do several of these. But yeah, so this is about cancer prevention. So let me just let me explain how that works. So for cancer prevention, there's actually several ways that fasting helps you with cancer prevention. The main one that I like is it will actually slow the growth of cancer cells and actually shrink cancer cells and kill them off even. It's basically your body runs off of two kinds of fuel. There's the ketogens and there's like glucose. So when you eat, glucose goes into your blood. People call it blood sugar. It's the same thing, glucose in your blood. But when you're not eating, there's no glucose. And so then your body will produce ketogens. You've heard of the ketogenic diet, keto diet, and all of that. It's basically if you stop eating carbs, your body will start produce ketogens. Well, fasting will get you in ketosis faster than going a low carb diet. You will get into ketosis pretty quickly. For me, I can get into ketosis in about 15 hours without eating carbs. I'm sorry, without eating food with fasting. Some people, it could take longer than that if you're not adapted, if your body's not used to it. But I've heard it taking 2 days for some people, but for my mind, it goes into ketosis right away when I'm fasting. And but like I said, when all the healthy cells in your body, they can run on either glucose or ketogens, but cancer cells, they can only run on glucose. That's their fuel. And my laptop is about to die. I'm gonna have to speed up the pace here because I did want to read some things off my laptop. So anyways, cancer cells require glucose, and your body doesn't have glucose if you're not eating. So it's then just running on ketogens. So your healthy cells are just fine. They're running off the stored fat you have. Your fat is being converted into ketogens, and their healthy cells run that. But the cancer cells are starving. So that happens after about 4 or 5 days. They say the cancer cells start to die off when you fast. So it's pretty cool, and it's something that's actually used a lot with cancer treatment as well. It can be used for cancer prevention, but also cancer treatment. Whenever you fast, it makes your healthy cells go into survival mode, and they get actually really hardy and really strong. And at the same time, your cancer cells get really weak. So your healthy cells are strong, and they can handle the chemo, and they don't get just like crushed by the chemo. Because that's the bad thing about chemo, is it affects both cancer cells and healthy cells, and it's really terrible. But this way, it makes it so that the chemo is really effective on the cancer cells when you fast, and not nearly as effective on your healthy cells. So, well, there goes my laptop. You can't see it off screen here, but my laptop just died. I was going to read some other finer points of how that fasting is good for cancer prevention. So stuff like it will boost your immune system, and it causes your stem cells to regenerate. And so it's great for cell regeneration and autophagy. It's fasting is like the number one cleanse that you can do, right? So you hear of these like cleanse shakes and stuff that you could buy, all these cleanses. I'm like, forget that. None of that will give you a cleanse like a fast will. Fast will clean you out. What happens is your body, whenever you don't have food, it starts doing this process called autophagy. Which autophagy, what it is it's cleanup. It's like taking out the garbage. It'll look for cells that are sick or weak or have problems. It'll look for garbage, like waste from your cells, and it will get rid of it. It'll consume it. Actually, it'll use it. A lot of those it'll consume those cells, the weak cells, the sick cells, and which then sets you up to create new healthy ones. So it's awesome for your body. It's a great cleanse. There's nothing that will cleanse you like a fast. So I would never bother with like those cleanse drinks and whatnot you can get. Just fast. Fast is great. Although having said that, I'm just here talking about my experience with fasting today. I'm not really recommending fasting to anyone. If you want to fast, see your doctor. It's not something is appropriate for kids. If you're under 18, do not fast. If you're pregnant, do not fast. Everybody's situation is different. So I certainly am not going to give a blanket statement that, oh, you should all go out and fast. I'm just saying, for me, I like it as a way to improve my health and get that nice cleanse and prevent cancer. So, all right. So 26 hours in, 6 more days to go. I may go longer than that. My record is eight days. It might be kind of cool to go to 8 days or even 9 days and set a new record. I've heard some people say that, you can fast 10 times for a week and not experience the same thing that somebody who fasts once for 10 days, because different things start to happen in your body when you get past that 7-day mark, that like at 10 days, you're experiencing things that you're never going to, you can do 7 days over and over and over again. You're never going to get what you get at 10 days. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't researched it, but I have heard people talk about that. So it might be interesting to try it. And it's not a problem to go. I mean, people go easily a month. I mean, the record I think is it's either 300 or 400 in some days. A guy was like 400 pounds and lost like 150 pounds or something like that with fasting for 300 or 400 some days, right? I mean, in the Bible, they talk about Jesus going, 40 days in the desert without food. It's totally fine. People think it's crazy to go without food because we've just always have food readily available. We just open their fridge, open the cupboard, there's food there. But really, our bodies are designed to go without food. And it's actually, in our evolution, it was normal to have periods where we didn't have food, to have periods where you would fast. And it's actually abnormal that we've constantly have food. So, and this can become a problem because our body relies on that autophagy, that process I was talking about, to clean up. And that only happens when you go without food for, I think it's around 18 hours. It depends. I'm sure it varies from person to person when it kicks in. But I've heard, it takes about 18 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours before autophagy starts to kick in. And most people are never going 18 hours in their life without food. So that process never kicks in. So your cells never take out the garbage. The sick, weak cells just hang around. The trash just hangs around. And that causes a lot of issues, causes inflammation. I mean, fasting is great for getting rid of inflammation. So at any rate, that's enough for today. I think you get the idea. Thanks so much for listening in. And come back next time. If you like the show, share it, like it, all that good stuff. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. All right, take care. Zen Large Nation. Peace.